Like looking back, I would have never even thought that any of that stuff was what it was. Uh, uh, say something else before I say
Word.
too much.
So basically, man, like first positive experience psychedelics, what substance, and were you alone with a group of friends? And was any of that group of friends happen to be Thumb Nugget, the Geeks, members, Dose Money, anything like that? Yo, what is up, everyone? My name is Lucas Tardio, aka No Face, and today we're doing the Goldface Money Watch interview. Want to introduce yourself right quick?
What up, what up? I'm GOLDFACE Money Watch from Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, yeah, by the way, so apologize about the mic passing back and forth. However, we wanted to give you guys the best audio we could, so this is just what it is, all right? But let's jump into it, man. So, Cody McJag, bro. Out from so you're from Cleveland,
Yes.
but right now you're staying in out east, right? Somewhere.
Yeah, I've been moving around. I've been moving around a little bit, trying to take advantage of finally being off probation. I just was staying out in LA for like the better part of like last year, and then it was the fires and them that shit be going on. So it was just time for a break. I had inquiries coming in from different parts of the country to go do shows and business and things like that, make content. So I just been seeing some new parts, of the United States.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, moving forward, I'll just hold it in front of you just so we don't get past it. But okay, so let's take it back a little to the beginning, bro. All right. So, born in Cleveland, got two sisters, right? Only son. So, what kind of household, bro?
So I would say I definitely had a good childhood. Both my parents are artists, but they come from like a time period where like you still would get like a corporate job in whatever you did. So like my dad did videography, like made commercials and stuff. And then my mom is a writer, but so she would at the time she did mostly like freelance. I think when I was a kid maybe she had a job writing for this company General Electric, but then I think most of my childhood she was just doing freelance jobs for magazines. She moved us out to me and my sisters out to Amish country when I was 11, like in sixth grade.
What year was that?
I want to say 2005.
Okay.
But yeah, oh, she was like writing a story on like the genetic diseases from like the inbreeding of the Amish because they have like a small gene pool.
So real freelance writing.
Yeah.
Word. So you don't come from mad money or nothing,
No.
but you weren't like struggling too much. Like your parents actually worked their ass off and really tried.
Yeah, for sure. I would say like especially I guess like on my dad behalf, what I would thank him for is he definitely had me around equipment at a young age because he would like take me to work with him sometimes, and so I learned I would be around lots of different like cables and I think a lot of that stuff was still like a certain era, so it was still like tape. I don't know the inches or millimeters
Right,
of what
8
film to me.
millimeter.
Yeah, something
Fucking
like that.
shit
And
like
then with my mom, I would thank her for always having me in music lessons. That's one thing that definitely like I played piano and guitar since like a young age.
Okay, so first of all, shouts out to Ma Dukes, shouts out to Pops. Um, Now, when you say young age, you were working with music. Like, what are we talking? Like 8, 9, 10, that type of.
Um, I would say I was banging on instrument. I mean, my first sentence. I mean, I just can only believe my parents as far as this goes. Like, I wouldn't remember, but I guess literally my first sentence that ever came out of my mouth was, "I want my guitar,"
No
which is
shit.
so it's like literally like my soul came back to earth. I was definitely like also a rock star in the last life, but maybe I had some unfinished business. But I just knew that I wanted a guitar from the moment I was, what I'm saying, a baby. But I would say I was like banging on instruments and maybe taking piano lessons all those years. But what was really the game changer is there was like an Apple store that opened by us, and they did like a kids like two day like camp to like teach the programs, and this was like 2004 2005, but like super early garage band and iMovie and stuff. And my my parents, since they were into arts, they always had IMAX before it was cool, like the colored like beach ball ones, and even like the square, like, what I'm saying, Steve Jobs,
So
like
you,
Macintosh.
so you were really exposed to like a wide variety of different mediums of art, music, all that from a young age. Now, as any fans of Cody out there know, when do the medicines start coming into play? And what I mean by that is, when was your first positive psychedelic experience? Which molecule was it with? If it was psilocybin, which for most of us, that was our first psychedelic experience. Explain that.
Got me figured out.
Well, I mean, American youth, it's we all experience some similar shit. But okay, so first positive experience psychedelics, what substance, and were you alone with a group of friends? And was any of that group of friends happen to be Thumb Nugget, the Geeks, members, Dose Money, anything like that?
Wow, yeah, you really hit that on the head. And I swear to God, we haven't previously discussed this, but okay, so you were right. It was psilocybin. It was albino penis envy mushrooms. Uh, and the crazy thing is, I did shrooms before I had a sip of alcohol.
No shit.
Like, I had never even drank a beer. I was this the funny thing is, I was straight edge through most of high school. I think, even though I was around the depths of it, but like something about it, like I just felt like I was naturally high. I had things I wanted to learn. Like, I feel like if I had started smoking weed too young, I wouldn't have taken the time to really sit there like learning these programs that are like so second nature to me now. Like, because like I said, I was on GarageBand recording my own like in sixth grade, I was recording my own music on GarageBand, like
So the
comedy.
music was like your first drug, basically.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I wish I could just have the natural sober motivation to just not like nonstop create at the rate that I mean, I basically,
There's
it,
days, right?
yeah.
Now,
Oh,
the,
the psychedelic. Yeah, go back.
which friends?
Yeah. So basically, my friend Papa Cherry and my friend Mondo, from Mondo
Shouts out Mondo.
was in Dose Money and Thumb Nugget and stuff. But this was a little bit before that. I think we were like, yeah, like 17. But we were we were in my basement at my dad's house. They were pretty deep into acquiring bad stuff, like, you know what I'm saying. But and so the one homie, I don't know if he's actually the homie Papa Cherry. He's actually 10 years sober, doing great,
Hell yeah.
balling. So like fucking, I feel like he wouldn't really mind me putting his business out there too much, but he definitely was. he was into like harder stuff pretty young at the time, so the shrooms didn't really vibe with him. But then he also took twice as much. I think it was like we got an eighth, so he probably took 2 grams, and then me and Mondo split a half eighth. But yeah, so he ended up in the bathtub talking like he just I guess like with your kids like and we I don't there was a lot of like misinformation, psychedelic just like myths, they used to go around.
His brain would bleed from mushrooms.
That's exactly
the dumbest shit.
And he kept saying that, and he was like, "As soon as the blood starts dripping out my nose, I'm gonna kill myself." Like, it was like,
yeah. Hey, for those of y'all out there, man, like so many psychedelic myths. Which I have a theory about this. I think some of these were started by the CIA and like purported in the community to intentionally deter people from psychedelic use. But, as we now currently in science understand that psilocybin, LSD, molecules like this actually increase neuroplasticity, boost cognitive function, blah, blah, blah. So, please do the research. Shouts out to Arrowwood.com. Shouts out to Reddit. Shouts out to...
on Arrowwood.
Right.
For sure, I was at Arrowwood.
90s babies for sure. But, okay, so... Mushy's herb, right? Now, when does LSD 25 come in?
So, I definitely had did some research chemicals before I did pure.
Same.
My bro Free Sack, he just for whatever reason at age 17 also just like could get like just the weirdest stuff that you really literally had to go on Arrowwood for. So like I would be lying if I said I knew exactly what all it was, but I know one of them is whatever like the psilocin analog is but it's synthetic though, like the synthetic psilocybin. So like it definitely has like an unnatural edge to it. Like the visuals are very, very intense,
Like aggressive type shit.
yeah. But so I was 18. My first L experience. I was 18.
Like clean family love.
Yeah, and actually, it's funny you said family because we was at I was a freshman in college. I was going to school for audio engineering at Middle Tennessee State University in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. It's like an hour south of Nashville.
Gotcha.
And so like basically one of my like best friends from the dorm, he was like a rich like kid from Atlanta, that was like really into that like that world, like that jam scene. So he was like pretty pretty far along with that stuff. And so we went to this place called Hippie Hill, which is like definitely like
Every city's got that. Like ours in Denver, it was called Stoner Hill. It was right across from Union Station. But I feel that. So go on.
Yeah. And it was definitely like stamped or whatever. Even the guy, I can't remember the dude's name that was performing that night, but he had played in a group with Merle Saunders, who if for those of y'all that
Shouts out to Merle Saunders.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah, it's not Merle Haggard.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Merle Saunders, you put me on game. That was the black gentleman that nursed Jerry back to health after the coma, right?
Yeah. And so any of the records of that are like the Jerry Garcia band or like his side project where he would just it don't sound too different than the Dead, but it's it's just but yeah, so the guy that was performing had been also in a band with the keyboardist that nursed Jerry back to health after his coma, and I was that was like such a key moment. So I took this is embarrassing, like but like I think I might have spit it out after it like was pretty much mostly dissolved.
We've all done that, bro.
I think I was a little nervous. I don't know if I ever spit out a tab again after that ever in life, but like it did the trick. Like I was not I was there.
Nah, I feel that like what I think that honestly comes from is our PTSD from the RCs. Like for real, cause like when I was young, bro, I had been dosed,
25 high.
dude, and yeah, and bomb. Like I'd been dosed with RCs and had so many bad experiences that in 2017, when Aaron Curtis, rest in peace, saved my life with L from heroin addiction, I was so scared to take it because of those experiences that I did the same shit, bro. Like I literally like had the tab on my tongue for like 5 minutes and spit it out. But like you said, did the trick. And I think, for people, for instance, like my wife, who her first LSD experience was with me, it was clean family fluff, and she's never tried RCs. I don't think she has any type of like that nervous PTSD feeling like when you're about to take it. But anyway, that's a whole nother theory conversation. Now, what was your first, whether it was YouTube, SoundCloud, any, DAP, any of this shit, what was your first single, album, anything that you released, video that actually took off?
Oh, okay. I was gonna say like I don't even know if I could like say the names of some of the first stuff that we were
like
making
the
as
first
kids.
one that actually did numbers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I would say it was a couple things at once. Basically, here's how it happened. We had been whoa, damn, I still could go earlier with it though, cause I did have some like we did have some like when we
But
was
nah,
in,
but
but you're talking about
people wanna
on the
hear,
national.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. So basically we had been doing our thing with Thumb Nugget, me, Believe, and Mondo and stuff, and so those videos were kind of, but I think we had, no, I don't, I think we were doing that out of high school. We had met in high school maybe, but uh, I don't know. But point being, it would be like every couple months we would come out with like a new concept. Like we were definitely making like concept, like kind of funny songs, but sometimes we get actually
Like
kind of deep with it, like philosophical.
a
But
lot of intention behind each visual.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Planning, getting
Yeah.
together, brainstorming.
Exactly.
Right.
Like some shit that doesn't necessarily happen for every video now, although it definitely does. Like you could tell which videos are my concept videos with treatments and stuff like, that outright or but
Which video took off first?
so here's what happened. So this was in the blog era, and there was this like college music blog called Good Music All Day. And they would post like, like Mac Miller, Wiz Khalifa, Macklemore type shit, like college drinking music. And there was a dude that worked for the website, like one of the writers on there or whatever, that I guess had seen me. He had seen me at a party in Nashville because when I was going to school in Murfreesboro, my bro Ricky was going to school in Nashville also for audio and stuff. So I'd take the bus up and party with him and his friends for the weekend. And what's it called? But so anyway, but I would sometimes bring psychedelics with me on the bus because I had a good plug like out in Murfreesboro. And so what's it called? I guess the dude had just seen me at a couple parties in action. Like I think one time I was like sipping a fucking bottle of Green Dragon. I don't know if you all know what that is, but it's like an ounce of weed shake dissolved in Everclear. And like and then he saw me handing out like, I think this shit was research chemicals. It wasn't from me, but I don't know. He just definitely had seen me like get the party just trippy, like, you know what I'm saying? Because there was this one party that everybody was on RCs, but it was like the vibes was proper.
Right.
I'm still trying.
But yeah, but what video, like what song popped first? Like what happened? Like I just want to make sure I keep you on track because this is very interesting to me. You know.
No, for sure. That's okay. So I'm getting to that. So the blogger had seen me in action. I guess just had like, and if like not in a weird way, but I'm just saying like saw the star power without ever like directly talking to me or saying that he was a fan or whatever. But I guess he had got hip on his own time to like the shit we were making in Cleveland. So no, even better. He basically like not hacks because he had the login for the website. He wasn't official, but I don't know if this was within what he was allowed to do or supposed to do, but he just changes the whole header of the site to Goldface Money Watch Week. What? And he started on this like, and this was like,
damn, bro.
And this was like a big, this blog Good Music All Day. Like it's so weird to think about that era, but it was a big deal. Like they got traffic. And
wait, so real quick, like when you're referring to like how big this era was, for those of the folks out there that may be younger and don't understand, even though I don't really at all fuck with Adam 22, a good example is like his BMX blog was pretty big before No Jumper, hence how he got the on some shit, BMX shop, all that shit. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is blogging back then, if it was a popping blog, you could really gain traction. So for this guy to change the whole heading to Goldface Money Watch Week is pretty crazy, that era,
Yeah, because then you also got to just think about how big the artists they usually, I mean, sometimes they might discover a new artist, but this is where the kids are getting the new Wiz Khalifa song or something. So the sound of music was different back then. But so anyway, I think he did like 5 days, whatever. So I think it was like 3 Thumb Nugget videos. And it just so happened that I had just been up in Cleveland for spring break and we had shot the video to my song Ain't Here and Spaceship. That's really the answer. Like, Ain't Here and Spaceship were the first that took off, but they were I had to tell that part of the story too, because without that, and then I happened to just have my fucking first tape, my first tape under Goldface Money Watch, dropping at this. I had lined it all up with Bicycle Day.
Beautiful.
Do you want to tell them what Bike Day is?
Yeah, okay, so in 1942, it's April 19th, Albert Hoffman synthesizes LSD, by accidentally ingests it, and rides home on his bicycle like he did every day from the laboratory. But he obviously that day had a different experience and realized that he had created something beautiful. So in honor of that day, we call it Bicycle Day. If you look it up on Google, you'll see the famous, well, there's a lot of blotter art of him, on the bike with his leg up and all that, but you'll see the famous pictures and all that. But yeah, man, 1942, shouts out to Albert Hoffman, and maybe next time April rolls around, which is coming up, maybe you should eat some dose, hop on a bicycle, and have some fun.
Hell yeah. And so like, I think that might have been like, my second or third year really like being aware and celebrating that holiday. But so I was ready. I really made the first song for that project like a year before. I'm like 419 a year before, because I remember, because it was my first bad trip period. But I'll tell that story later. But so anyway, I had a tape ready to go too, and so he posted the fucking tape too, and that shit literally got like 4,000 like literal downloads the first day of people just having my whole, and that changed my whole life, because that was when at the time I was going through like a breakup with, what I'm saying, whoever, a chick that, what I'm saying, I had dated
life shit, right?
Yeah. And I just was having existential despair. I wasn't really happy going to school. I felt like my mixes and my production, since I had been doing it since such a young age, was already I liked being at the facilities and stuff. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to piggyback what you're saying. As men, we really need purpose to make us feel good. So what I hear you saying is essentially like after all that hard work and all that effort put in, it kind of essentially gave you purpose and motivation to keep going, because it was like, wow, this is working. This is actually happening in real time right now. I see the downloads, the guys changing the heading on the whole. I mean, this is now what age were you again?
19.
19. Okay, so I could try to put myself in, your shoes at being 19 years old, which when I was 19, I was fucking homeless with nothing, facing 32 years. So for me to feel that would be incredible. I think any 19-year-old to feel that would be incredible, regardless of what era we're in now with views and all that. But okay, so this is starting to take off, and you're kind of starting to feel better mood-wise. Now, how much does this impact the motivation of the people around you as well?
I would say, yeah, well, I would say that at that age, everyone is actually kind of motivated. I think that it starts to trickle off from wear and tear later on, but it's like at that point in my life, everybody I knew was in a band or doing something creative in some shape or form. Like, like I was in two bands at once at that time, along with my solo music. But
Shout out the Worms real quick.
oh, that wasn't the Worm, but yeah, shout out to the Worms. But the Worms came later. That was when I was the front man. But at the time, I was still like, if you hear my like old rapping style, like the low mumble, that was kind of cause like part of it came from being a little like Mike Shy. Like I was a lead guitarist. I was a lead guitarist in both the bands and sometimes keyboardist, bassist type shit. One was called Black Bloodhound Dogs, and it was like a jam band with like 7 members. We had 2 drummers, like on some Grateful Dead shit, but it was all original songs. And one was called Electric Sunshine.
I like that name. And before I change this subject, I just want to point out, and I'm sure folks out there that are fans of his music, which obviously I am, we do appreciate all of the jam band stuff that you brought to the table, bro. Like, there's been times I was tripping so hard, just so K-rocked, like going through some life shit, and I would just throw on Bad Trip TV or like throw on Low Number, and just it is nice, bro. Because I don't just listen to hip hop all day. Okay, so now it's no secret, my past or his. So when did you really like start jumping off the porch, bro? And we're obviously gonna keep it within the statute, or keep it before the statute of limitations, obviously. And like, when did you really start letting your nuts hang with this trapping shit? And when did it start getting spooky? And when did you first have an encounter with a CI? Which, for those of you out there that don't know what a CI is, it's a confidential informant or a rat.
So, I would say, I was, I would say really, when I was in Tennessee, there was this psychedelic.
What year is this? Just so people understand the statute of limitations.
2011.
Okay, so this is a long time ago. Okay.
Yeah. And there was this, and it was close to the college campus. It was the opportunity presented itself, but basically like there was this chick. She was older. Like we were all like 19. She was like 25. She would like travel abroad as an anthropology student. Like we all like, what I'm saying, looked up to her. But she ran this psychedelic cafe that was like in this like almost like treehouse type thing, and you would walk in and she would basically like pay a homegirl to be sitting on the couch to like pass you the house bong when you walked in, and there was like a big bowl of fucking shake that you could just pack all you want, you know what I'm saying? And you'd sit down and there were all these like beads, kind of like hookah bar type vibes, bean bags, beads, drapes.
Okay, so was she a plug? Like, what does this have to do with your?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's what I'm getting into. Yeah. So, then they would give you a menu and stuff, and so there was like study aids, sleep aids, You know, but you could order anything up to like a pound of shrooms, you know, L, whatever weed, different stuff. Like I don't know, but so when you just have that situation of like a place that you could just pretty much pull up on like anytime, like it pretty much just, you know, of course I'm gonna start, you know, trying to fucking because my job dishwashing at Subway fucking while being tired, you know, in between classes and shit was not really like fucking you know, yeah. So, but that was more. That wasn't really like money motivated though. Like, damn, hold on, let me put my phone on fucking D&D. So anyway, but that was more just like to say I was doing it, but it did inspire the music in the sense that like my early shit. I mean, I guess this could hold true at a bunch of different points, but
Like, we want to know about the trapping right now, not the music stuff, bro. So let's.
okay. So like I'm just saying. Well, okay. So it was that like dabbling with that, and then once we started, I mean, the two things just go.
I know, but the question I
So
asked was about something.
I would say during Dose Money, that turned it up to another level because then that elevated the status to where like plugs was falling out the sky. But we still wasn't doing nothing major. Like it still was like honestly, like we created a new market in Cleveland. Like yeah, there was always the grateful culture, the festy culture, but that wasn't necessarily like where we like, you know, we made Dose very hype, like the way the fucking Illuminati makes fentanyl hype now, like you know what I'm saying, but we like made it so like the high schoolers and shit, like you know what I'm saying, like oh I want a dose, like but so
real light worker shit, boy. You know?
but so I mean it was nothing wrong with this, but like the shit we was getting was so strong, we was definitely cutting that shit in half, you know what I'm saying, like we would get like one sheet and turn it into two basically because we had the place to do it, like you know what I'm saying, we didn't want these younger kids fucking, I mean we were young kids too, but like just like running around naked and us being responsible, you know what I'm saying, like while we was like the hottest thing in the city, so you know what I'm saying, we was that but still like I would say like all that shit still was pretty petty. I would say when I really turned up was well damn, then I would say it, if you're talking about like nuts dragging, like I would say like 2016, 2017. At that point, I had I mean, I'd definitely been moving paper through pretty much all this time, but then I took like a year or two off, just being more on some crust punk shit, going out to Cali for the first time, and like
Where does the CI come in?
So basically, I was having like a good plug situation at the time, and me and my brother was getting it in, and you know, I just my route was kind of like the Hound, you know what I'm saying, down to Tennessee, and you know, it was the crazy thing is this kid was a fan, and what's it called? Oh, by the way, that Psychedelic Cafe had got raided all them years back. That was when you said first spooky experience. Like that was like we was tripping when we went to pull up to it one time and just seen fucking.
I'm happy you said that because I was wondering that. Now, so for the kids out there, bro, like I just want to reiterate before he gets into like the really like sketch part, but you know, if you're out there, dude, moving and grooving, and I ain't talking about like the Crips saying moving and grooving. I'm talking about like if you're really trapping, like really thugging out there, bro. Regardless of the substance, you know, just know what comes with it. You feel me? And like that may sound cliche, but if you haven't done time, you know, we've both done some years, bro. If you haven't done over a year, you don't know what sitting down for a whole calendar's like. then you're not going to understand what a special offender charge is. You're not going to understand what surveillance from the feds means. You're not going to understand what indictment means. You know, like, you got to really take that first opportunity you have to get out the streets, man, because it's not worth it. And bro, I've seen cats stressing so hard, like damn near like hair falling out their heads because their folks got raided. Like, how did you feel when she got raided? And then get back to the story about 2016.
Oh, we was shook, but she definitely had her money put up. I'm pretty sure she just like.
It was a state case or a fake case?
State, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so she's good. Now back to
Yeah. Anyway, so it's jumping forward years later, but that definitely was a dark trip. Thinking the trip's about to get even better. We about to get some weed, whatever to find. There's something about the sight of like what are the SUVs called and all that shit. Like that shit is like traumatizing. But so anyway, I'm taking these trips down to Tennessee and shit, and basically, can I say this? Yeah, I don't see why not. I was like renting, like, you know, I had a situation where I was like paying like dirt cheap, you know what I'm saying, to like a homie's homie for a spot at like this trap house in downtown. Like there was no heat, no air, like, you know what I'm saying, like, but it was in downtown Tennessee by like the JCUC, or downtown Tennessee, downtown Nashville by the JCUC projects. And so my thinking is nobody's looking at me there, like, because I would see jump outs like all the time, and my heart would fucking stop, and then it never was for me until it was. But so basically, I would like I would stash my work there, but then I would like fucking Uber way further out into like, you know, the suburbs but like the ratchet suburbs though, like Antioch and Hermitage and shit are not like, just like, they're not uppity suburbs necessarily, but like fucking, it's a mix between country and, you know.
But there ain't like matcha tea getting sold for like $15 type shit. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
That's actually where I fucked up at, is hitting a play in one of those counties. So basically it was going good. Like, I felt like I had it all figured out, because basically I would just like post up in a hotel. I would book a hotel for the night and like, you know, let all the youngins like just like mob in the hotel with me and call they plays, you know what I'm saying? And I just had I only was fucking with the L and the MDMA, but you know, that shit was going. Like, sometimes I would, you know, let my little bros get tabs for like $3, and they would sell them for $40. Like,
Right. So things are going well, and in my opinion, selling Lucy in malls really has no karmatic debt as long as it's clean. Like, I fully believe that these molecules should be legalized, definitely decriminalized, because they help people, right? So I hold nothing against you morally at all, but I do want to know, like, what was one of the people around you a CI? Like get to that part.
Okay. So yeah. So I'm touching, even though it wasn't no real money, but like, you know what I'm saying. At that point, I had just been doing like the broke crust punk, street punk shit in LA for like, you know what I'm saying, the past 2 years on and off. Like, and so I just was like ready to, once my hands like started touching some bands and shit, and then I was able to fund my actual dream of like getting rental vans, touring in a rock band, buying all the equipment, you know what I'm saying, all that shit, because that's really what made me happy, was to like play guitar live and shit. But so I just had that hunger for money that you know, gave me a blind spot. And there was this kid on Snapchat that, to be fair to myself, like, he had been on my social media and Snapchat like for some years, like as a fan, like I'm talking about, he was maybe one of the first kids that tapped in when I was talking about, you know, random fans suddenly tapping in from around the world from that blog and shit. You know, so I didn't really, you know, and I had never really talked to him like that, but I I had the messages of him being like, I love your music, blah, 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 blah. So basically, he would be on Snapchat post, and now I see this type of shit as a red flag, but he would be on Snapchat posting him like unpacking, you know what I'm saying, like zips of oil, fucking pounds of weed, just counting racks and shit. So I just hit him like, shit, spend with me. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking, and he actually didn't hit me back for a while. Like, you know what I'm saying? But so then like it's almost like he had to like go run it by the detectives first. And then basically from what I understand, like he like sold me to them to be bigger than what I was because, you know, some of the videos just looked professional and, you know what I'm saying, these old fucking pigs don't, you know what I'm saying, they don't know anything about what goes into.
Bro, and that right there is something that I want to highlight is, you know, as a artist myself, as someone who has like my own rap videos out there, which check me out under No Face, fucking capital KNOWFACE, all one word. But you know, just because I portray something as a character, like my rap persona is just a character, bro. You know, just because I portray something in music videos does not mean that is my real life, bro. Like I wrench on cars, I do construction. I mean, or at least that's what I was doing prior, you know, working at the hydroponic gardening center, blah, blah, blah. But and now I'm just working on a ranch. But the point is, you know, these are characters, bro. Early, I'm gonna speak for myself. Like, this is just a character, a persona, right? So for the cops out there, man, like you can't just assume based on lyrics and visuals that that's what's going on, bro. This is art. This is entertainment. You feel me? This is for entertainment purposes only. So, you know, when there's props or certain dialogues and songs, I just want all the cops out there to kind of at least.
Better not be no cops watching this.
Well, there's cops on YouTube, bro. So that just
Come to Brazil.
But
I'm gonna edit that out, sorry.
word. But and you know, shouts out to all the good cops out there, which there aren't many, but there's a couple. But yeah, man.
Come to
So
Brazil.
anyway, so this kid, you know, he thinks that you're bigger than what you are because he's watching these music videos. He has no idea that like you're mainly just like eating these medicines to the head. Like you're barely even like you know, like what you're trapping, you're putting it all into music equipment and tour. Like you're not like sitting there with like keys and choppers and fucking bitches naked like cutting drugs. You know what I'm saying? You're not on some Frank Lucas shit. Haha, you feel me? But nah, hey bro, so I'm gonna let you get back to it.
That also was back then. But what's it called? But wait, remind me what we were just saying?
You getting rolled.
Oh yeah. So basically, eventually the dude, and it's a lot of warning signs looking back now, you know, but I was young and dumb. And then also one thing I say, like, always trust your gut, because ever since that, I've always like relied very heavily on my intuition. But when you're younger and stuff, you know, society, they tell you that intuition is fake, magic is fake, like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just thinking I'm tripping. Like,
magic is 100% real. If you don't believe in magic, I feel bad for your pussy.
yeah, fucking. So just to get to the point, basically they set up 2 control buys, and the county that the kid was working for was actually it's a top 3 richest county in the United States. It's where like Justin Timberlake and Kesha and all them country stars and shit live.
How much were the controlled buys for?
It was 2 controlled buys for I think 5 sheets each time. And the crazy thing is, like, I only got like $350 a sheet. So like we're talking about like what is that? Is that $3,500 then for 10?
Was that worth it?
No, it would never be. It would never be worth it in any other. And it definitely, you know what I'm saying? Like, if y'all don't know about what lawyers cost and shit, you know. But so from what I understand, usually they try to do like 3 controlled buys and get you on the 3rd. Oh, I guess they did get. Oh, but they only
They can do multiple. So if you guys think, that your friend that caught a that got raided magically is out the next day, and he bought a couple sacks off you, and you don't think he's a CI because you haven't been arrested yet, don't fucking hold your breath, my homie, because they can do 5, 6, 7, 10 controlled buys if they want to just build the case, right?
Yeah. And I think what made them lose their patience with me was I was always on the move. Like, I was still going to Cali. I was going to Texas.
So they were like, we got to reel this boy in.
Yeah, so they had did the 2, and I took the money and bounced. I went to South by Southwest with my band to do a show, and I'm so happy I didn't ever put, like, my band in harm's way or anything, because the way I was moving at the time, I easily could have. But but so then after our band's performance, one of my homies from Chicago, the homie Joey Perp from Save Money, he hits me up like Goldface, you here, like pull up to my show type shit, like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just used to, like, in the underground, like, my face card, having, like, doing the talking and shit. But what I didn't account for was that he was opening up for French Montana. So it was like a elevated level of security. Like, it wasn't just like a normal, like, smaller venue, like, chill security. Like, but so anyway, I just go to, like, walk past, like, the VIP line or whatever. But I didn't want to bother, bro, and be like, yo, can you come to the door and get me and shit? I'm like, I'm finna just walk in. I'm Goldface Money Watch. The bouncer's like, whoa, like, what you do? Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, don't touch me, like, you feel me? He's like, you're just a fucking dirty hippie, blah, 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 blah. So I up nod on him. I'm just like, who's dirty? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then, like, fucking, I probably should have just tried to tip him or something, but, like, fucking, I start trying to walk past him again. He touches me again, so I throw him on the ground. Another security runs up. I throw him on the ground, like, fucking, then I start walking away. But I'm on 6th Street in downtown Austin, and so they fucking flag me down right in front of it. It's police everywhere. You know what I'm saying? They flag me down in front of the office. He just beat me up. So the police, you know what I'm saying, they ain't asked no, they just literally detained me first. They're like, stop right there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Put me in handcuffs. They're like, you got an ID on you? Fucking, they go in my pockets. And I had just bought, this was all just like personal party pack, like, but I had just bought like some Tex-Mex, Blizzo from, you know what I'm saying, from a random like type shit down there, just on some rock star, like, you feel me? And so, but the crazy thing, I mean, the dude probably was like definitely like getting hit, you know what I'm saying, working the festival to straight, because he had the shit in.
Wait, so 2,500 tabs back in Tennessee. So 2,500 tabs back in Tennessee, and you get caught with blow in Texas, right? Okay, so how much time did you do all together again? Remind me real quick. Just
16 months.
Okay, so you did 16 months. So, for all the kids out there, so you did 16 months in county. You got 5 months of probation. Now, for all the kids out there, if you could say something positive to deter them from ending up.
1,500 tabs.
Okay, so it's 1,500 tabs. So 1,500 hits of LSD.
1,000 on the controlled buys, and then 500 more when they came and got me. Because they pulled me out the back of an Uber and kicked the door in at my trap spot at the same time. Because I guess they had been doing surveillance type shit.
Okay, so, between lawyer fees, probation, restitution, I don't know if you had to do any classes, but obviously you lost over almost 2 years of your life over this. If you could say anything positive out there to any kids to deter them from this shit, and listen, bro, we're not perfect. We're not saints. We're not saying like don't ever do nothing. I'm just saying like when you get the chance, take it to get out. But what would you tell them, bro?
Yeah, I would definitely say that, and I'd also say like all money ain't good money. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're in that shit to get rich as the goal, good luck. And if that is the case, then do what he says, like get out when you have enough, and you know what I'm saying, diversify and legitimize your money, like, you know what I'm saying, because all you really need is, you know what I'm saying, you run up 10 bands, whatever, you know, that's even enough to, you know, figure out how to turn that, especially back then, a motherfucker could have been putting that into crypto or, you know, but yeah, go ahead.
I really like what you said, bro. I think that quote, all money ain't good money, that's a very, that people need to hear that, bro. All money is not good money, you know. And like, we're just talking about doses, you know, malls, dreams, you know, stuff like that. But like, for those of y'all out there selling fucking blues and Fetty powder, like, bro, watch out, homie, because that money's the worst kind of money. And like, if you think them boys aren't on your helmet, my homie, it might not be tomorrow, might not be next week, might not be next year, but watch out, because when
I think the reason he says that is because, especially if people know anything about opiate withdrawal, like them type of plays, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had one play that was a bitch out of, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never had that experience ever again, you know what I'm saying? But it just took one in my case, you know what I'm saying, to do it big enough. But yeah, I think like, but everybody come from different situations, and you know, I understand there is you know,
right,
like
trying to rise above poverty. That's what trapping is. We ain't knocking fools that got to do shit. We're just telling you to try to change your life, man. Now, to move on to something more positive, what to wrap this up, what is,
oh, I was just gonna pause it for a piss break, and I figured we'd come back for half an hour.
well, yeah, we could do that. But before that, what is the direction right now that you're currently focusing on? And because we have to say this, because we can't skip over this, maybe we'll start the next half with this. Rest in peace to Cody, bro.
Yes.
So what are you trying to do right now? What are you trying to do right now? And that's, yeah, we'll cut it.
We're gonna come back to that.
What's up, guys? So we took a little longer break than expected, but anyway, we're back at it. So, Cody,
2 days later.
for real, you know, bring it. So obviously, you know, you get out of jail, you start really putting forth all that hunger, all that pain that you felt in jail into your music, right? We saw this transformation, damn near metamorphosis, when you got out of jail, right? Now, for those of the fans out there that follow Bad Trip TV, that follow GFMW, you already know this. But I think a lot of us would like to hear some of the backstory of KILLKODY and your trip to LA, and kind of, you don't need to delve too much into it for obvious reasons, but you know, if you can highlight some of the darker aspects of the music industry for us, that'd be cool.
All right, cool. Yeah, it's interesting you said the metamorphosis thing, because you know, that's when I was locked up, that's when I like started identifying with the spider and like the butterfly. Like a spider came and sat in my window like for 3 days on lockdown, and I drew it, and that's what became the
logo.
Because it's like an upside down alien.
That was in your cell.
Yeah,
Got you.
during lockdown. But yeah, so how, okay, I know how to make it connect. So basically when I got out, like he said, you know, like all, like, you know, I think everybody could pretty much objectively hear the difference in even just like my vocal projection, like, you know what I'm saying? I came out and made
I think everyone can tell how much more serious you took it. I mean, it and I explained this to folks.
serious.
No, I'm saying like, bro, like regardless of what you want to say, like I became a man in prison. A lot of people become a man in incarcerated environments. It seems like you became a man in there.
Exactly.
You know? So like anytime someone goes from a boy to a man, they're gonna when they come back to their craft, to their trade, it's gonna be more on point, you know.
Right. So then, so I'm making all this great music, and for a while I really didn't have to think of anything else because I didn't even want to walk outside until all the songs that were in my head got recorded. But after like maybe a year or two of like me being out and walking down my probation, I eased into making moves, doing shows, definitely in the first year and stuff. But, I wasn't even having a sip of beer in that first year out. But so anyway, one of the things that I experienced when I got out was, and I don't want to say any names because I don't still necessarily think of it this way. I'm just describing what went through my head at the time. It was like some people that I feel like I had gave my platform to. I was just happy as fuck to see them doing good and stuff. So I would like pull up on like, shows of like, my friends in the city that, I had maybe gave them, a running start and stuff. And it really don't even got nothing to do with them. I would say the thing I noticed is, this is a crowd, like at this whole venue full of, the next generation of music fans. They didn't really know who I was. And that was very like dissonant to my brain because, not that I'm fucking Tom Cruise, but I'm saying in fucking Cleveland, like, I'm very infamous and recognizable, but in that time that passed in jail.
What I hear you saying is it's almost like before you went to jail, like every show you popped out at, like cats back, oh shit, that's Goldface Money Watch. But then motherfucker sits down for 1 year, year and a half, and some change. All of a sudden, cats acting like they don't know motherfucker, or just that's the era of media, music that we're in right now. Information passes so fast, projects get released so quickly. I mean, sometimes these kids' attention spans really just are on that TikTok status, bro.
Well, yeah, and I think that was particular. Like, whatever I got out of jail to was one of the worser times in underground music, as far as like the fan base of, and I guess it almost like skips a generation because like I'm not speaking on now at all. Like now it's like Dose and, all that is like back in vogue. Like, but it's almost just like, so anyway, like, I just I was looking outward for like, a shout out from, anywhere, like, you feel me, just to like let motherfuckers know like, this motherfucker, it wouldn't be none of this without, the work I had already.
Right, like give you your flowers type shit, Yeah.
And so that's how I was going to segue it into Cody was, I went through like really, even though I always was just so much focused on my work, and every time I would finish a project, I always just had a vision of what was next. So sometimes like my focus on the work really blocked a lot of that other stuff out, but I was trying to grind. I knew I had to like, make stuff happen. At that point I had started taking trips back out to Cali, while on probation and stuff. But, what's it called? But I'm trying to think of how detailed to be, but basically like Cody's first words to me, basically, I was in California at the time, and, I knew who he was, or at least I had heard of him because he was making noise in the city for sure. And he was definitely grinding, like dropping videos like often. But I didn't know anything about like his character, personality. But so anyway, I get a random Instagram video call. So I answer it, and he's just like beaming, like just like smiling, like he's like, man, what you be on? Like, I was like, are you tripping right now? He was like, how did you know? I was like, because you just randomly knew that you could FaceTime or call me and that I'd answer and stuff. And so basically, he was like, we gotta do something. Oh no, the first he was like, bro, I grew up on you. Like, he's like, I grew up on you and Dose Money, like, blah, 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 blah. So he was like, you were a huge part of my first shroom trip. Like, the first time I ever did shrooms in high school, I think it was like Dose Money Halloween or something. I can't remember what he said it. And he's like, and instantly, like, I fell into like he's like, I instantly felt like I knew you. It was like you walked right out of the TV at me, and that was years ago. And I'm just now talking to you. So I was like, well, say less. I'm finna be back in the city, you know, in a couple days to see my PO and stuff. So, you know, we'll link up, but, you know, send something through. So we sent, you know, he sent a track through. I did my verse right that night, started another track, sent it back to him. We ended up doing it when we first linked. But, you know, I could ramble on those details forever, but
Basically, bro, it's like, it's almost as if you guys had known each other from past lives or a past life, which I feel that way with literally most of my friends and family. And it seems like, you know, I just want to point this out. You know, this is just an example, but like when Circles dropped, Mac Miller recipes, I remember like crying, like shedding tears out, and like people would be like, "Fool, you don't even know this motherfucker. Like, why are you like getting all emotional?" It's like, bro, sometimes if you're really an empath, especially with Pisces, okay, especially like water signs in general, and
knew what you were. You're a Pisces.
yeah, February 21st, my birthday. But basically, bro, like we really, whatever, fuck it, I love you, but anyway, man, like we really feel things so hard. So a lot of times, like you really can get to know someone through their music. And so like what I hear KILLKODY saying, which is very interesting because I had a similar experience watching your videos, but for the first time. But what I hear KILLKODY saying is like just getting to know you through your sound over the years, having such an impactful, which was his first shroom trip. Like, let that sink in. His first shroom trip was to, you know, one of their music videos. So, I mean, this truly was probably such like a culminating moment for him, and you really probably did influence him.
The crazy thing is, though, I mean, at least that aspect of the influence we had on the up-and-coming generations, you know, first trips and all of that, that is actually, you know, maybe not how he as passionately as he were, but I'm saying like it was so many people at this time period that had also that was their experience, but they just wouldn't say it. Right. It just wasn't cool to even say that. I mean, just to admit that you
talk to people, yeah.
that you know, but just to admit that you grew up to Dose Money or something, just because it wasn't the current thing in at that moment, you know.
And bro, what Goldie just said is something that I hope sinks in, because, and whether he did, you know, whether or not he said this directly, this is kind of how I interpret it, which is like, bro, just be your fucking self.
And that's
like if you like an artist, homie, and they're not like Drake untouchable status or whatever the fuck, like you can't even message them or whatever, like, and you make music, fucking DM that fool, bro. You never know, bro. You never know. Like it's not. You might think it's lame, but it's cool to be yourself, bro. I reached out to this fool over same shit for real. I mean,
yeah, I try not to block blessings, but it's funny. It's crazy how you just be saying exactly like when you said the be yourself thing, because I would say like, well, definitely like some sonic and, you know, stylistic influences came once we was, you know, together every day and working together, like going both ways. But
you talking about you and Cody?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But the number one thing off rip, you know, that he just was so, you know, couldn't say to me enough was just like, you're actually yourself. Like you are proof. Like you are proof that you can actually do that.
Yes.
Like you don't care like what people think. Like, and that shit really helped him. You know, I mean, in his words, you know what I'm saying. He just would always tell me like that, like, or sometimes he.
Bro, you were one of his inspirations, quite literally. you know?
No, for sure.
And I'm not trying to take away from his mama, from his dad, from his family, from his friends, from other, influences in his life at all. You know, praying for his family, rest in paradise, bro. If you already came back, unless you were enlightened enough in this life, but if you already came back, bro, I hope you get to be a human again. And yeah, man, fucking, but clearly you were an inspiration, and so you guys start hanging out, fucking two peas in a pod, damn near like best homies, off rip, right? Known each other for hundreds of years, thousands of years maybe. Okay, now you start making music. When does Los Angeles come into play?
So, okay, so the first night, he came through. We instantly dosed up, and his my basement. The old where we had the studio in my dad's basement, it wasn't everybody's cup of tea. So his ride had pretty much like pulled off on him, like while he was in the booth recording his verse for Dead Roses, coming up on the tab, like, and then so it was like, well, fuck it, and we made like a whole EP that night. I would say like 3 or 4 of the 6 songs are unreleased still, but Die For It Part 1, like if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of his SoundCloud, that's the very first song on his SoundCloud. Like that was his, like now I have a different love for it, you know what I'm saying, because of him. But out of all the shit we were making, like, he had just this special passion for that song specifically, to where like when we were shooting the Dead Roses video a couple weeks later, he was like, nah, like we got to do Die For It, you're tripping. Like, I was like, I don't want to do like a emotional, like in this setting, I want to do something like, you feel me? But anyway, but on that song, I say, I could never do that shit that y'all be doing. I could never change myself just for approval. I'm so true with it. All my movements fluid. If I said that I'm going to do it, I'm going to die for it. And that was like his favorite shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but, so it was a lot of like, that was the very first day of him just like, he was just picking up on how I move and shit. And then likewise, like that, he, cause I know, with people that just know certain artists through the internet, it's like, how can I say this? Like,
Who's official?
Yeah, and I could probably say this cause, but like, yeah, I remember one of the second time he ever maybe pulled up on me, and he's just like casually, withdrawing props
Worldly, scholarly, from Brazil.
while just like, saying like, don't believe the hype, like, or whatever. And just like, but yeah, so, there was, I don't want to jump right to LA. I mean, I'm trying to be as quick as possible, but like, the couple months in Cleveland before LA was very, very important. Like that was, the whole Symbolic album. I don't think any of it got recorded in LA, maybe mixed and mastered in LA. We shot the video to the title track Symbolic in LA, but, that was all in my dad's basement. And go ahead.
Yo, I just want to say, shouts out to basements. Shouts out to all the basements out there. Shouts out to all the little shitty studio apartments out there where great music gets made, bro. Like, there's something about the come up, bro, like before the bread of just like making music in like little cuddy spots, bro. That anyway, shouts out to basements. But and I wasn't trying to take away from the importance of the Cleveland era with you and Cody. The reason that I said that was just to give you a milestone to keep heading towards as you're telling the story.
Yeah. Cause it's funny too, because we even were very self-aware of it when we were shooting, and recording Sign to the Dark Part 2, which ended up being, our last video together. But, where we're in the snow and stuff, but that was in
Brazil.
And that was his last time visiting
Brazil.
But it was just funny that the energy, the magic when we were like doing that song and video felt just like the beginning, and we were just looking at each other like smiling because we both knew what each other was gonna say. Like, why can we only do this like this? And like, because I mean, we did make some very important music in LA together, but compared to like how often both of us make music, which is like all day, every day, you know, high output artists, there was definitely, you know, some level of like blockages that was preventing, you know, us from locking in how we were in
Brazil.
we were together every day though. But
I think it's interesting that you said that because, you know, it's like where you have roots energetically, you're going to maybe, you know, just be able to be more creative. Not only that, bro, so I'm from Los Angeles. I was born in New York, but I was raised in Los Angeles. And then I've been in Denver, Colorado area for like the last 15 years. But LA ain't what it fucking used to be, my homie, okay? Like, as someone who like for real grew up there, like skating, fucking taking the buses all throughout that city, painting all throughout that city, like the golden era of Los Angeles, bro, died in like 2011, bro, like 2013 type shit. Like it's dead, bro. Like what's out there right now is a whole lot of evil, a whole lot of greed, a whole lot of hoes. Like, not the good, like, beautiful, like, there's beautiful women, but I'm just talking about, like, the succubus type bitches, like, that they move to LA to, like, find and marry a director or, like, meet the fucking rapper or the NBA, whatever. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, you know, even the energy in LA is just darker, dog, than it used to be. So maybe perhaps y'all literally just had more positivity and less distractions in Cleveland.
yeah, I don't. Cleveland is very, very, very dark place.
I'm not saying it's not live or fucked up.
I think it's more just like, I guess when you say less distractions, I guess in the sense of in Cleveland, like unless there was like something going on that we had to pop out to or something, there was nowhere in the world that a lot of people, you know, from our group of friends would rather be than turning up.
There's not like 20 OnlyFans bitches coming off a fucking printing press getting sent to your door, though, right? Like, I'm assuming when homie had a penthouse in LA, it was like constant partying, constant hoes, all that. You feel me? Like,
I'm gonna get in trouble, but I would say that we was definitely having our boyhood debauchery, however you say that word, while during the making of Symbolic. Like, I think that was like another thing that just like, you know, why we were able to like connect so heavy is just that we at that time specifically we was matching each other's energy on just like the all out like rock star shit, and not like all out like, you know, on some degenerate shit, but I just mean like we had the hunger for this shit, and you know, already at that, because I'm let's see, he was born in 97, so that makes me 4 years older. I'm 4 years older, so you know, and he would always say stuff too, like, you know, like that he was trying to have experiences that, you know, he could tell from YouTube and stuff that I had, you know, with just the traveling and doing music. But I say that to say, when you get older and stuff, because when you're younger, I think we talked about it in the first part of the interview, like,
right, you're so motivated,
like,
yeah.
and like everybody around you is doing music, like when I went to school, everybody was in a band, like, and probably like within 2 years, like some of those people might never have touched an instrument ever again for the next 10 years, like, right. You know. But so I definitely had. I mean, people get responsibilities, life happens, but it just definitely, I didn't have anybody that was matching my energy at that time, and also just like, you know, so it was that, get me back on track.
So it was almost like a rebirth energetically, like damn near like refreshing, just to have someone, regardless if they're younger or not, but just that motivated, like that ready to fucking, you feel me? And okay, so basically, bro, So you guys make magic in Cleveland. Now you get to LA and shit starts getting a little wicked.
So yeah, not even exactly at first. Like he was very, very like ecstatic. Like the first, at least like month or two. Just going to the beach, doing just he
Doing the LA thing. He doing the LA
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Well, I would say like the LA thing he was doing in the beginning was very like way more wholesome, and you know what I'm saying? Like what you were saying, like isn't there as much as maybe it used to be, but like there is ways to find it. You know, he had me to I had other people
hiking to the Jim Morrison cave, eating LSD, surfing for the first time, going like hanging out with like actual cool women and homies and not just like straight.
and damn, I was about to say something about so when we got there, help me out.
Basically, so
What had you just
like we got to tread carefully on this part. So, he signs a record deal. He's excited, man. He has every intention of keeping it wholesome, blah blah blah. He's doing his thing. He's enjoying Los Angeles, but like things start to, kind of like show itself in terms of aspects of the music industry that we don't need to get specific about, but folks out there are aware, and if you want to go into it, cool. If not, we can pay our respects and move on.
So what happened was still in that wholesome era, and probably any artist that's had like a major hit, I don't want to say like against their will, but without trying, like will tell you that like that even though you could catch lightning in a bottle multiple times, I definitely feel like I have definitely caught lightning in a bottle throughout my life. But the She's Too God for Me, like that shit was literally like a freestyle. And this is all stuff, he's said in interviews too. But yeah, and he wanted it deleted. Like, he was like, all right, now I'm about to.
Just so everyone knows, he recorded "She's Too Goth for Me" in like 10 minutes on this computer.
I got a new computer.
But on your computer. Yeah. Just remember that.
But so basically, and that was why it was my call. Like, no, I'm not. Like, no, you got to keep that.
Right.
Yeah. So
it blows up.
yeah. Well, it had sat around. It has sat around for like a week as just like an unfinished track. And then I guess whoever. Chapo ex-wife at the time or whatever, had just had it stuck in her head while they was on tour in Texas or something like, and so I guess that was like what pushed it over the edge to where. But if you know anything about like Chapo, really just almost like 95% of the time only freestyles, and for whatever reason he wrote to that verse because he was on the road and he just wrote to it in headphones on his phone. So when he came back to LA, that's when he put his verse. And, that is a crazy verse, you know what I'm saying? Like the peep bar, that's something that, he could actually say, you feel me? So it was just a perfect storm of a lot of factors. And then, but that also was where things started getting pulled in different directions. Cause I remember, originally, me and Nixie were trying to direct the video and do like a screenplay for it and stuff, but the route that they took with like the TikToking and all that stuff, like, that's a different way to think about it, and that shit worked, like, and that shit really was an organic moment, like that shit really, and then to where, motherfuckers was having to pop out like 3, 4, 5 doing 3, 4, 5 shows in LA a week type shit. So basically, oh man, I sound whatever, I don't give a fuck. But Originally, there was a Tracy tour going on that Chapo was on, and they were just playing that song like, on stage in between songs, whatever the fuck. But the fans were just jumping to the assumption that it was a Tracy and Chapo song and stuff, and I kind of peeped that from a distance, and not that that was Tracy's intentions or anything like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? People play, music to come out to, whatever. But so the next show date was in San Diego. So, Nixie's from San Diego. I got a bunch of homies down there that were already going to that show. So we just all wrote down.
Hey, big shouts out to Dago, bro. For real, for real.
So that was his first time. Performing that song live, and that was where he started meeting sort of like, I guess, the remnants of the people that were in the industry in the aftermath of like the SoundCloud era and stuff like that. And that was basically where like he was first approached, what seemingly innocent at the time, like yo, like, you know what I'm saying, you're not on papers with no one, like, you feel me?
Make sure you hold the mic close.
And like looking back, I would have never even thought that any of that stuff what it was. Say something else before I say
Word. So basically, man, like what I hear, and by the way, Chloe, come over here, fool. Shouts out to my wifey. I love you. But, hey, so what I hear is like this organic song gets made. Okay. Cody's a little hesitant about it. He's apprehensive. But as God in the universe tends to work, things around him moved it, put it into place to where it ends up getting released. Now, I'm not going to say the dude's name because it's already been said like twice for her, but this guy's ex-wife has this song stuck in her head on a tour. She's like, let's go. They release it, bam, it blows up via like TikTok, not so much the YouTube, Instagram method. And then this gentleman and his wife are playing this song on stage while he's performing with Tracy. The crowd's starting to love it. People are noticing now within the So Icy Goth camp that, this is a fucking record, bro. And it pops off. Now, just like anything, just like Pete, just like all these folks, don't need to name them, when people see dollar signs, motherfuckers come flocking, right? So people start offering deals, and some powerful folks get involved, whoop-de-whoop, whatever. Now, how do you witness this transform his life? Like, we don't need to talk about like street money or whatever, but let's just say motherfuckers making like 5 to 10 racks a month, living good, eating good as it is, but this record deal happens. Now, is he going to like 50 grand, 30 grand a month? Like, you see him go from like a 2-bedroom apartment off like Central to like a penthouse. Like, is it really like that, or is it not as exaggerated?
When you sign those deals, they don't actually give you the money. So he already was, having his own motion in his own ways, like, but you'll be around money. But
So, okay, when you sign these deals, they don't really give you the money. Just for the kid out there that maybe like 16, 15, that comes across whatever. Now, you're saying like they may give you a penthouse that's rented every month. They may give you a car that's leased. They may give you a $20,000 advance, but they're not. You sign a $250,000 contract. They're not handing you a check for $250,000. Okay, you may have to give them 2 albums, 3 albums. You may have to give them 2 tours. There may be a lot of obligations. So just because you are an insider of the industry, can you explain how a regular contract, not necessarily a 360 contract, but just a regular contract works?
Right. Well, he did. So it's an advance for one thing. So the cost has to be recouped, but even worse than that. And so that used to work like in the era where like there were record sales and stuff. Like if you knew what you had enough to like, take them up. But then the other thing is, because record sales aren't a thing anymore, but the industry still wants to maintain this lifestyle, they've turned to like other, sketchier. Not that it ever wasn't dirty, but it's basically like, I don't know if the word's like a pyramid scheme or a Ponzi scheme, but it's basically like they say they give you this money, say $100,000, and then all of a sudden you, at least, I mean, he was going against it, obviously, like, still working with me when he could, but they tell you who can do your videos, what studios you have to record at and stuff, and they're charging you for that.
Now, I think a lot of people, when they refer to like selling their soul in the music industry, this is kind of part of what they're referring to, because you're quite literally giving up like full creative control of your sound, of your art, right? So like for some fucking guy that you just met to tell you, oh, no, you can't use that videographer, or no, you can't use this producer or that engineer. No, we have this guy, this gal, this guy. That's who you're going to use. It's kind of fucking weird, Now, I'm not going to sit here and turn this whole podcast into some like witch hunt shit about the industry. But like, I'll let you guys do the research out there for the other components of that may or may not involve selling your soul in the music industry. We're not going to fucking rant about that. But in terms of the owning of one's masters, in terms of the,
Well, so let me say something about that. So, for example, I always knew that there was an out if there ever was money being played with to where it was worth, involving entertainment lawyers and stuff, because I know music business and stuff. And so, for example, She's Too God For Me, I co-produced that song. I put the whole distorted bass, the transposition part, the lower octave vocal, like I added a lot to that song. Like
talk your shit, gang.
But that I literally have had such a long and fruitful career. Like I was never it like, and I like, but so there were like two other producers, I think, that I guess are credited on that beat. They were like 18 at the time. So, when Cody signed, basically the label sought them out and, took advantage of them being like little kids and just gave them like 10 bands each, probably, to just completely
finesse them,
to completely think they owned that song. But if it ever went to a court of entertainment law, no, because I could still pull up the session. I could still pull up, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't sign anything, and it's the same thing with like, for a long time, Cody wouldn't put out another until he put out Slitter Mode like 2 years later. Symbolic was his only actual album, which was entirely produced by me. One Freaky Ralph beat, that's on the one that I rap on Sign of the Dark Part 1. But, me playing guitar, whatever, like, I've never signed anything in my life. So, there was a gray area with how they was trying to pull that off, but we're just too smart for that. Like, that's another thing people like that I don't think they realize. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right? They think y'all some dumbass trappers from Cleveland that don't know shit about business or clear market, diplomacy and strategies. And it's funny because you're talking to a group of guys and gals that all we've been doing is increasing our neuroplasticity, boosting our cognitive function. We've been tripping hard for years, homie. So if you don't think cats are finna know, just based on academic studies, pondering this shit, watching other people make mistakes, and then, of course, all of the psychedelic medicines we've taken, bro. Like, come on, what the fuck were these people thinking, my homie? They really thought they were gonna get that shit by you, you know, get that shit by Cody. Anyway, I feel bad for the cats that did get finessed for real that weren't smart enough. But listen, for those of y'all out there, for whatever reason, if someone high up hears this, someone toss this man some skrill, bro. Please, for that. That's crazy as fuck.
But but yeah, so at the end of the day, you know, he always was like keeping a separate, you know, even when he told me to drop Baby Dose on Bad Trip, which was like at the height of She's Too God For Me. So I was thinking that was just gonna get shelved, like, you know, because that's She's Too God For Me was blood. But to him, he was looking at it like through me. You know what I'm saying? Like, or just through Bad Trip, through our, you know, our actual, like, Cleveland psychedelic family that, you know, he would say this, like, I'm not putting words in his mouth. Like, you know, this is, he has told me many times, he would tell me.
From the wolf's mouth, bro.
And I didn't necessarily even understand it at the beginning because I just didn't understand why those two things even would be that separate. Like, at first, I'm just thinking, like, I'm going to be at these studio sessions in the hills with you, and then there was even a point where I got hurt thinking that he was shutting the door on me,
but really he was protecting you. Yeah. And that's what it is, and we can't go into that, unfortunately, because, you know, it's not this interview. Right in the future we will, but man, rest in peace.
But
I mean, it's your brother.
Or did you? Yeah. I mean, did you have any other questions? I mean, I'm trying to think.
I don't want to make it too long.
Yeah. No, I know, and because I do. I mean, I do want to like do some type of like out. I mean, like have.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you an outro, of course.
Yeah. But
all right. So look. So ready. So edit this part out, and then first of all, say rest in peace, like a good one.
No, I said long live.
Long live.
But
hey, long live KILLKODY, bro. For real.
But I guess I just want to like, like I said, like, cause you know, this is a topic that I definitely, you know, and even with the talks of us starting a channel and doing more like long form content and stuff, like, you know, I could really go on about this stuff. And as people, you know, display their interest, you know, I will, you know, share knowledge. But I just want to say, like, I mean, I don't know if people even like realize like how unique, like, and how hard it is to be truly, like, to do it in a way that's never been done. That's true. Like the elements that he combined, you know what I'm saying? Like, even how he had a mind for with the fashion show shit and just all that shit. Like, he had, you know, how he was trying to cross over into the EDM and shit. Basically. You know, yeah, shout out Cloud, shout out Brick Squash, fucking but you know, cause that was really this will be like the last like deep industry thing I say, but like, he really was such a versatile artist. And when we first got to LA, he only wanted to make like pop, rock, EDM, just different shit. Like, I would try to play like trap beats and he would be not interested. But then I was confused because then it was like, I mean, he made some, even like the darker shit that came from the Hollywood Hills and shit. Like, it slapped, it go hard. He was standing on it, you know. But like I said, that he would always say that he felt like, you know, it was a split of who he was when he was playing his, because he had a reason he wanted to play that role. But I get into all that shit on a later time.
Yeah,
but
we'll do another podcast about it. So I mean, dude's truly one of the most versatile, unique artists, humans of our generation, man. And but when I say our generation, I mean our lifetime. I mean, I never met the gentleman, but just like, bro, like, even the small amount of time I've been listening to his music, it's already just impacted my life like the greats, you know? like Peeps, like X's, like, you know, Max, all that. And so, of course, Jimmy, of course, bro, Jerry, fucking rest in peace to all of the greats. But what are you focusing on now? What's plans for the future? And, you know, anything you want to say to the people out there that care about you and listen to your music?
Yeah, you know, I'm always, you know, but I mean, for people that don't know this, I mean, I put all the credits on everything, but, you know, I really be making my own beats, although I do have homies that I work with too. But I do my own album art, I edit my own videos, you know, so it gets draining to just, my channel, like the Bad Trip channel is like its own passion, but then there's also like the GOLDFACEMONEYWATCH catalog, like when I scroll it on Spotify, that's like another passion, like, you know, but I don't know what to say, it's videos and EPs coming soon, like I probably couldn't even tell you by the time this comes out, like, you know, but I know Mr. Rave Trap is gonna be one. Yeah, I don't know. I actually did a kind of good job, like these past couple months of like catching up on my backlog, which is like something that's been weighing me down for the longest. Like, cause a lot of times like you'll shoot videos on the fly and then just, you know, they might sit around for a year or two before they get edited and released, especially if you're the only one working on it. So, I don't know what it holds. I feel like I'm always, you know, working towards getting back to, you know, the live music, the instrument stuff. And, you know, I usually, even if it's just for like my opening song, like, you know, bring the guitar out on stage when I do shows, you know, that's really just part of me. But I don't know, you know, I think it's better to just say like pay attention. I'm not hard to find. GOLDFACEMONEYWATCH, like, you know, you just type that into YouTube, Google, like, cause it ain't even no point talking about all the new stuff when it's like, you know, y'all get those numbers up for me. Not that I give a fuck, but
I give a fuck. Sorry I had to hop off camera, bro. You know how it is with phones and fam and friends. But listen, man, go run up my homeboy's music, dog. Like, I don't think you understand, you know, how many of your favorite artists are full of shit, fool. I met this cat in real life, and, like, I'm not finna say, like, every lyric type shit, but, like, bro, you know what time it is. Like, motherfuckers walking the walk that they talk, you feel me? But, peep my music too, fool. No Face, homie. Capital KNOWFACE. Shouts out to...
And what's your channel if they're watching?
Oh, my channel's More Than a Number, bro. And what that means, more than a number, separate words. Because I'm more than my DLC number, man. I'm more than a prison number, which my number was 179343. But anyway, I love y'all. I wish you guys the best. Long live KILLKODY. Long live the rest. Have a good day.
It's Bad Trip all the time. Damn, that's a bummer. All right, y'all.
Mr. Bad Trip.
Mr. Bad Trip.
Come to Brazil. This is something they say all the time in Brazil. All right? Come to Brazil.